Well, hi, everyone. Kimberly Ray here with Marine Conservation Network. And we're here with Dr. Joe Dituri and our youth ambassador in Florida, Victoria Huber. And I hope everybody is ready for a fascinating and exciting interview here.
Let's get ready to rumble. Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to fight.
Definitely ready to rumble, ready to fight for that life, right? Fantastic. Okay. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you for taking the time. This is fascinating. I can't believe from my home state that you're doing this in Florida, just really close to shore. How deep are you right now in where you're staying?
The bone crushing depth of 23 feet.
Which for divers, that'd be considered 1 atmosphere. Is that correct?
1.7, 1.65 atmospheres.
Fantastic. Well, the research that you're doing is, you said you have an outreach for kids, and that's why we're wanting to talk to you a little bit, is for our Youth Ambassador program, like Victoria here is part of, to where we want to encourage them and show them that there's so much that they can do for marine conservation and marine biology to really make oceans a difference out there.
Yeah.
So your main reason for doing this is for biomedical research, is that correct?
Yeah, so it's a 3-part reason. The first reason is biomedical research, because I'm a biomedical engineer. That's kind of what I do. And we need to stay underwater for a period of time so we can see what happens to the human body: blood, urine, saliva, electrocardiogram, electroencephalogram, those kind of tests. But the second part, which is just as big, is the outreach to the kids. And what I want them to understand is that science can be cool. It's not all beakers and microscopes and classrooms and, white lab coats. And it's not all geeky, right? It can be cool and it can be done in a fun environment in situ, which is where we are. We're in the environment and we're actually studying the environment. So, and then the third and final thing is the outreach with respect to my peer group. So I have PhDs in marine biology coming down here. I have, PhDs in sponge physiology. I have doctors of shark research. I have ichthyologists. I have benthic geologists, and we're talking about what matters to them. Hey, how much did the sea level rise? What's the real number on that? Hey, how much can you get help from a sponge? What are the good things that come from sponges? Let's look at stuff on a microbiology level. Like literally, we looked in the bottom of the lagoon, and that is just a whole bunch of dirt.
Oh,
and
wow.
Right there in that dirt, growing on the side of that bile, is a new single-celled psyllid, new to science, underneath in the dirt. So we just found that. So that's kind of cool. And we're just looking at stuff.
Yeah. That's fantastic. What inspired you to do this? What inspired you to go down below and just start doing some research? Was there one particular event in your life that happened that kind of brought it about?
So I'm a retired Navy commander. I did 28 years. When I finished, I was a submersible expert. So I worked at, U.S. Special Operations Command, and I designed and helped build dry combat submersible. And when that was over, I got a call from James Cameron's people saying, hey, we want you to come out to my house in California and look at that submersible. So I said, yeah, sure, James Cameron, whatever, send me a ticket. He sent me a ticket, they come pick me up, and now I'm walking his dog on the beach, and we're talking about it. And literally, like, here's what happened, here's where we're at, here's all the stuff that had to happen. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I need the report, but I need it by Christmas. I'm like, okay, Christmas, no problem. So, of course, late minute, right? I'm writing the report up. It's December 24th, 2012. Now, I just retired from the Navy, right? So I'm writing this report up, and I found that he found a sea lice. And sea lice in our neck of the woods are usually the small, teeny tiny, little nitinoid creatures. They get in your wetsuit and they kind of make you itch. No big deal. One he found was 14 inches. Wow. 14 inches. He grappled it. It was albino. We pulled a DNA sample on it. It was a partial cure for Alzheimer's. Let me say that again. It was the partial cure for Alzheimer's existing at the bottom of the ocean, and nobody knew about it, right? And here we are going, everything we need is here on this planet. We have yin, we have yang, we have dark, we have light. We have the disease, we have the cure, guys.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what we tell our youth ambassadors, is that the ocean is our life support system. There's so much to learn from it, and keeps us going and gives us oxygen, food, and health and medicine. Real quick on the Alzheimer's, you said that has partial for the Alzheimer's. Is it the makeup of the lice, or is it what they eat? What is it inside the lice that you can think of that would be for Alzheimer's?
Okay, I'm not that guy, right? Like I'm not the guy that does DNA
Okay.
sequencing on anything, right? Like I'm a biomedical engineer that is not even in my swim lane. I wouldn't even know where to start. However, we were just talking to the doc from Nova Southeastern.
Yes, there is a professor named Professor Joe Lopez. He works for Nova Southeastern University and he has a PhD in sponges. However, he is a geneticist. So that would be something that is in more of his.
Yeah, he does DNA sequencing. So perhaps that would be a question that you could interview him. He's a smart guy. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, not my swim lane, not my circus.
That would be wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about how life is down there. Let's start off with, how did you adjust from being on land, obviously, to living underwater for a while? I mean, how long have you been underwater so far?
49 days.
Wow. Wow. And how did you adjust?
How did I adjust? I think I adjusted very well. I've stayed here before. I stayed here some 20 years ago. And then I started doing this expedition to come here about 10 years ago. And then in 2019, we actually stayed here for a period of five nights and 6 days. And we basically tried this whole experiment out. And, we're trying to do science underwater, which is, it's hard, right? Everything's hard, right? Everything you bring down gets crushed. All your sample stuff gets all discombobulated, right? It's like, oh man, even the blood, you go to take blood out of me and it's flowing out of me 1.7 times faster than it's flowing out of you on the surface. So it's like, and you can't fill the bottle all the way up because it'll explode on the way to the surface, right? Oh my God, what's going on? Right? Craziness. So we did take blood. We looked at blood underwater. We saw some rouleau formation. I mean, there's all kinds of real things that are happening here in science that's going on. But yeah, short of that, as long as the logistics problem isn't met, it's pretty easy to get down here. These guys swam down here this morning, something like that.
It was like 2 minutes of thing. It was really simple, very accessible.
Football field away, give or take. Easy peasy.
Any headaches or nausea from the adjustment?
No headaches, no nausea on my part.
Not mine either.
Bad source of the chocolate. Yeah. So what happens is when you miss a lot of chocolate, you ask for chocolate, and then all of a sudden your great former student brings you chocolate.
There you go.
Then I had just a little too much chocolate. So that kind of, now I got a sore belly. Short of that, great things are happening down here.
There you go. Well, one of the questions that our youth ask is, what do you do as far as eating down there? I mean, obviously you can't have a fire going like in a fire pit. So what do you do as far as cooking and eating?
Right. So why can't you have a fire like in a fire pit? Because you are in a 36% oxygen environment, 21% oxygen on the surface, but I'm 1.7 times that, right? And she just calculated this afternoon. We're at about 35 or 36% oxygen. So good on you. So that means, whoa, fire is way higher on the priority list. The ignition point is way lower now because you have more oxygen, right? So things tend to spark off. No cooking, no heating, no open flame, no pot heaters, nothing like that. So I have a teeny tiny coffee cup. Thank goodness we have a coffee cup because science doesn't have coffee.
You gotta have coffee.
I already know, right? And then a microwave oven. A microwave oven because we're shooting particles into the center of something. So that's pretty good and it doesn't heat up very much. So everything is down here is low voltage, low wattage, and we try and keep the spark to a minimum because we don't want to, I kind of like living. So, let's not do that. But yeah, so I make a mean poached salmon in the microwave. And I've been working with a company called Rebuilt Meals. And they've been sending me microwavable meals that are high in protein because I'm a protein guy. So high in protein meals. And then, sometimes you get a pizza delivered. You guys had a good pizza.
It was
A pizza delivery underwater.
Underwater pizza.
That would be something to definitely film. I would love to see that happening. What do you do with a question that a lot of people are curious about? You're down there for so long, you're trying to make it to 100 days. What about all the waste between all the food or anything else? What ends up going with that? Where does it end up going?
Yeah, good question. So, what goes in must come out, right?
Right.
So that goes into a holding tank and nothing else goes in that holding tank, just like in your RV, right? Your RV, as you're going places, you want to get that washed out from time to time. I'm the one that washes it out because guess what? It's my house, so I want to make sure it's done. And so I wash it out from time to time, and that's okay. And it's got a macerator and a pump, and it pushes it to the surface, and that's that. Now, all the garbage, all that disposable waste stuff, that all goes to the surface. It goes to the surface in these compressed boxes, and we bring it up to the surface, and they go ahead and discard it on the surface.
That's fantastic. Victoria, what do you feel about being underwater with Dr. Joe? How do you feel about this?
I am so happy to be here. I honestly wish I could spend the rest of the 100 days down here because it's a dream. So honestly, I still can't believe that I'm down here, and I'm really glad that I was able to do so many cool things. We got to collect ctenophores because there's a lot of them out behind us, and look at them under the microscope, which was really interesting.
So we saw the cilia on the modus operandi. We saw that under the microscope. That was kind of nice. What else? What else did we collect?
Well, we went on a dive, I'd say a couple hours ago, and we took some plant life as well as some attempted collection of plankton from the waters to try and look at.
And
Very
then
good.
we got stuff
Yeah,
from here.
we
which is
also
really cool.
swabbed algae from our window over here and took a look
wow.
at that as well.
So we have a 2,000 times zoom microscope here, so we can do a little bit of microbiology. Once again, not my swim lane. She's like, "How do we do this?" I'm like, "No idea." I mean, I took that course 1.5 million years ago, and I can kind of sort of do it. I can't remember, So we looked at it, some cool stuff. She's got some slides to take home. It'll be fun, right? So,
Well-
but it's like teaching them the experience. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to go out. Look, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. We'll figure it out together. What's the worst that could happen, right? We ruined the sample. Oh, we'll go get another one, right?
That's how you learn. Just take that first step. And we're really proud of you, Victoria. We're so excited that you're doing this, and you're a big inspiration to the rest of the youth in our ambassador program. We're really proud of you.
Thank you.
One of the other things that we wanted to find out is that once it's all finished, what are you looking to do with all the results? Are you doing this so that you can, like you said, working on Alzheimer's, or is there something else that you want to go forward with this?
So I think the question that you're asking is, why am I down here for 100 days, right?
Yes.
The answer is because I can't afford to be here for 200 days. So
Oh,
why
okay.
is 200 days important? 200 days is the length of time that it would take us to get from here to
Mars.
Mars.
Wow.
Wait, what are you talking about? Underwater Mars? Yeah, because we're in an isolated, confined, extreme environment, right? So here we are in this similar type setup to some ship that's going from here to Mars for 200 days. Hey, Elon, I got a couple of questions. What are we going to do about the musculature, right? Because everybody knows we only have resistance bands in space. So here we are working with resistance bands and this new technology to increase something called nitric oxide synthase, which increases oxygenation to help the nitric oxide synthase build up in your muscle so that you can build greater muscle while you're in zero gravity. So we're working on that for you, Elon. Don't worry about it. And oh, by the way, we're going to need some shelf-stable food that's going to be around for the 6-month journey too, the couple of months on the ground, and then the 9-month journey home, right? So we're talking about 1.5 years, right?
Exactly.
So we got some thinning to do. Let's start thinking. Let's start doing it here. So
Right.
what did you tell me earlier about breaking my record?
Well, if you really wanted to break the record, you would just go there for 75 days. So that's why it's so important to have a reason behind your goal, because without it, it'd just be like, oh, I'm going to do it for 75 days. And it wouldn't really be meaningful.
Because the current record is 73 days. So who would care, right? So we're doing it for the real reason of 200 days. And this one was like, hey, so maybe what I'm going to do is I'll stay 200 days. Now, I don't, her father didn't hear that at this point, but I need to get her mother. But, she's like, I'll do 200 days. And I'm like, rock on, let's break the record, right? Let's break the record before it's even set. I don't even care. We need to get the data. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I did 19 psychological, psychosocial tests. I did, and I'm continuing to do them throughout just to check. Yeah, we did blood, urine, saliva, EKGs, EEGs, electroencephalogram, brain waves in the head, pulmonary function tests, lots of other testing, earwax sample removals, ear pressure testing, yeah, culturing of growing of wax. Yeah, like we're doing everything that we could possibly do while we're down here, just to make sure that we have the ability to know everything that need to be known.
So
That's it.
do you have a big crew that's helping you, or is it just a few people?
Oh, the funny part is like there is one person sitting right here, two people right now, right? But there's a couple of us underwater. There is literally 100 people up topside helping, right?
Wow.
Marine Lab is sponsoring us, right? So the
Yes.
International Board of Undersea Medicine sponsored us. We have been working and the crew tirelessly. I got 10 medical doctors. I
Wow.
got 2 psychiatrists. I got 1 psychiatrist. Now they say that I probably would need the psychiatrist anyway, but that's beside the point. I'm not crazy. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when all of this is done, though, if you stay, once you stay the 100 days, do you have to go through a decompression process when you go back up on surface?
So the funny part is I do, and that is very important. But the answer is how. The question is how. How am I
Right.
going to decompress? The answer is, good Lord, I have no idea.
Oh,
Nobody has any idea, right? So we're working this math, and what it is it's 16 third order partial differential equations that you have to work, right?
wow.
So you work those, and you're an overdetermined system, so there's too many variables and too many unknowns, right? So it's crazy. So you're trying to work the problem backwards. So we're working the problem backwards, but I patented a device that shows autonomic nervous system stress, and that's what I'm going to use to decompress out of here. So
Wow.
we'll see.
And in Victoria, how long are you staying with them, with the
Well,
doctor?
I'll just be here for 24 hours.
Just 24 hours. That's a big deal for you, though. That's really good.
That's an aquanaut. That's the very definition of an aquanaut.
Exactly.
Hi, my name is Victoria, and I know I'm only 14 years old, but you know what? I already lived underwater. Wait, what?
know.
Talk about like a hard to impress girl. Like,
Yes.
like a girl, God forbid you start dating. Please don't do that. But you get to the point where, you know, she's dating and the guy's like, well, I'm a scuba diver. And she's like, oh, really? I'm an aquanaut. And he's like, I can't.
Exactly. She's going to be hard to catch up to. She's going to make a lot of us want to. Whenever I watch Victoria, I want to be better than what I am. And I feel like I'm never going to catch up with her. So she's definitely an
Oh, yeah.
inspiration. Definitely an inspiration. Well, this is fantastic. Victoria, what do you want to go forward with this? I mean, you're down there with a fantastic experience that, like you said, no other 14-year-old has ever done that I know of. Where do you want to take it from here? How do you want to expand from this?
Well, I really want to expose this entire project way more on social media, because I feel like about this before and I just saw it while scrolling on Instagram per se with your account. I would be so amazed and I would want to do that. So I want to inspire more people and I want to make it more easily available for others to find. And then I want to try and make it so popular that more efforts like this are done in the future. So not only can we continue getting more data, but we can keep on getting more and more people inspired with similar efforts.
That's awesome. That's exactly why we brought you aboard. That's exactly why. I am so pleased with this. And I'm really excited about it. Growing up, just a little note, my mother used to call me the mermaid because you couldn't get me out of the water. So to know that you're actually doing this and moving ahead and finding out a whole new life out there, I think it's fantastic. This is awesome. One last question I have for you, Dr. Joe, is that to kind of give inspiration to other nonprofits that are trying to find out about ocean conservation and what we can do to protect the ocean, it comes a lot of funding. And I know a lot of organizations are self-funding right now. Was it difficult for you to get the funding for this?
Yeah, it was completely impossible. The International Board of Undersea Medicine stepped up, gave us money because they're looking for the cure. They're looking for everything that's in the ocean, right? And then Marine Lab was the other one, and they stepped up and stepped up big and hard, right? And all we're doing is exactly their mission. Marine Lab's mission is basically to get out here and to educate kids. Take kids that are in landlocked states or landlocked countries and educate them on the marine environment. Hashtag winning, right? So yeah, I'll tell you, and I didn't even think that end would bring me as much gratification as it had. But I have high-fived a little girl in this window right here.
Oh,
that
yeah,
tried
I heard.
15 times. She tried 15 times to get down here. 13-year-old girl tried 15 times, did not give up. And I was like,
Good for her.
I
Good
sent
for
the
her.
selfie. I got a selfie, and it was like, I sent it up there. I'm like, I'm so proud of her.
Oh, that is so fantastic. That's really, and that's the youth is our future. I mean, that's where the future lies, is with Victoria and other ones like her, because there's things that older, generations just didn't understand that now we do. This is fantastic. You are definitely opening a lot of doors for a lot of people, and we really appreciate all your work. Victoria, we appreciate you being involved and being an inspiration for other youth. And definitely, we're going to get more and more of publicity out there for this, because it needs to be done. Well, thank you, Dr. Joe and Victoria. I'm so glad that you took time out of your day to do this. I'm excited for you both. I can't wait till you find out all the information that you're looking for. And this is definitely opening up to a brighter future. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. If we didn't get your questions, we're going to post this on our channel and our social media. You can put your questions at the bottom, and Dr. Joe and Victoria will get them. If I can answer them, I will, but I'm sure they'll be the better ones to answer it. This is Kimberly.
Hey guys, we're only halfway through, so please follow Dr. Deepsea, drdeepsea.com, or the Dr. Deepsea YouTube page, or Dr. Deepsea on social media. And look, man, we're gonna be doing videos on a daily. So come on and get involved. Maybe you can do something fun. Maybe you'll learn something too. Who knows?
Fantastic. And everybody can talk to Victoria. She's on our page, and she has her own LinkedIn page. So she's out there too, talking to everybody. So this is Kimberly Ray with Marine Conservation Network. And remember, together we make oceans a difference. Bye, everyone.
Bye.